Well, this is Lucas Offenkamp, and I am with my friend Sheldon McGorman. He is going to be one of our speakers at Men's Retreat here in just about 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, we're very excited about the opportunity to have Men's Retreat here at Lakewood Park Bible Camp. And currently, we're finding any empty space on the campground we can to stuff people. We just registered 3 guys to sleep in the prayer room. So we're excited for this weekend, and thank you, Sheldon, for spending a couple minutes here with me. So Sheldon is going to speak at the Friday night supper at Men's Retreat, and then the Saturday morning service. And so he's going to give us a few minutes. So I guess I just want to start out with your backstory a little bit, Sheldon. And my goal in this is basically just to introduce the guys of the state to our speakers, and a lot of the guys will know you obviously better than some of the others that'll be here, but even then many won't know you. So what's your story? And you're a pastor in Watford City. How did you come to be where you are today?
You bet. Yeah, I graduated from Trinity Bible College and came to Watford City in the year 2000. And so that was long before the oil boom and all the things that we've experienced in the last decade or so. But I was there for 5 years. I was a youth pastor there. And then I actually did some traveling and preaching for a couple of years, as well as I worked in the oil field. I was kind of an oil field mechanic and did some things with that. Then through an odd set of circumstances, ended up coming back on staff at the church. And at that point, Pastor John Osborne transitioned out as senior pastor, and I transitioned in as the senior pastor of Watford City Assembly of God, and have been that ever since. And so that's where I'm currently at. I've been serving for over 13 years now at WCAG.
Great. What was it like during the I was in Watford City for the first time in my life a few weeks ago, and so I can't compare it to what it was before, but what was it like at the height of the oil explosion when the city, how much it went from 1,200 to 12,000 or something?
Yeah, it was something to that effect. I think when we moved there, it was like somewhere between 1,000 and 1,300 people. But yeah, then we pushed well over 10,000 at the swell of the oil. When the boom actually first hit, it was ridiculous. There were 20 people deep, and I'm not exaggerating in any way. There were 20 people deep at the tills at the grocery stores. Empty shelves at the grocery stores. It was tough to get milk and bread, stuff like that. It was 2 cars deep round the clock at every gas station in town. I know it sounds crazy. At times they ran out of diesel fuel. It was wild at the height of the boom, but it was just amazing to see the opportunity that we had to help a lot of people that were in need. We met a lot of amazing families and saw a lot of people's lives transformed through that opportunity as a church.
Great. What was more difficult, the oil boom or the COVID lockdown when it came to getting groceries?
Yeah. Man, I don't know. It'd probably be a toss-up.
Oh, really? Yeah. You got any hobbies or anything? I know you've done house construction stuff, and you used to flip houses, didn't you? And then some work with cars. And what are you doing now?
I've done a lot of crazy things. We've remodeled houses. I have some rental properties, different things like that. I don't know if that was necessarily a hobby. My wife and I, when we were younger, liked to do a lot of that stuff. Now I'm not quite as ambitious as I once was, but as far as hobbies, I have some old cars that I've worked on. I like anything from 1965 to 75 with 2 doors is kind of my thing. And I've got a 1973 AMC Javelin AMX. I've got a 79 Duster that I drive around almost every day. I had a 71 lime green Roadrunner with a 440. So I've had a lot of fun vehicles, 75 Camaro, things like that. So yeah, just I kind of enjoy wrenching and doing body work kind of on that. When I was in the oil field, I actually did a lot of industrial painting. So I'm kind of more of a body man than I am actually a mechanic. But yeah, I really enjoy working on old cars and stuff.
Cool. I got some rust spots on my Yukon. Could you fix those at Men's Retreat for me?
At men's retreat, yeah. If you got a big enough air compressor, we could do it, man. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
right. Cool. Well, over the past decade or so at Watford, you had been doing a sermon series on Father's Day, and you took that, I don't know, 10 year long process and turned it into a book that you titled Real Men. And can you tell us a little bit about the without tipping your hand too much for what you might share in a couple weeks? Can you tell us a
Yeah,
little bit about what the message of that book is?
yeah, I'd really like to. We actually had a series. It was over a decade ago now at our church where we did "Why Women Love Church and Why Men Hate Church" was the title of the series. And we did 3 weeks for the women, why they love what they love about church, and then we did actually 4 weeks for men. And we walked through a really powerful season with our men. And at the close of that 4 week series, we did what we called a knighting service. At the close of the service, we had all of the men come up and we knighted them to be a warrior of the king. And that started something powerful in our church. And we just saw a lot of men really commit to it. It wasn't that they weren't Christians, but they just committed to living a warrior type life. And after that, every Father's Day after that, we continued this series. Basically, the 4 weeks where we talked about real men carry chainsaws, real men carry swords, real men carry crosses, and real men carry water. And we talked about all these things that real men carry. So the next year we said, man, we're going to, we continued what real men carry. And we did it for actually a decade, over 10 years, that every Father's Day we would continue this series until last Father's Day. I wrote my final message on the men's series, and we talked about just culminating this whole thing. And then I spent over a year writing a book entitled Real Men with all of the chapters about things that real men carry. And they'd been all the series for over a decade long. And some bonus material and then we gave those books out to all the men this last Father's Day. It was pretty cool experience for us as a church.
Yeah, well, I hope if you have any on hand, you can bring them with you a couple weeks. So
they're on Amazon also, and audiobook, because a lot of men don't like to read. So look for Real Men by Sheldon McGorman. Little self-promotion there.
Good. Yeah, you got to do that. Someone's got to promote you. So I know it's hard to be shameless and promote yourself, but you got to do it. But just to close out here, what is one message? And maybe you've touched on that. Maybe this would be your message. But if there was one message that you say, I wish every single man would know this, and would be able to take it to heart, what message would you say that would be for you? What do you wish every man could know?
Yeah, it's hard to boil it down to just, one thing, but really, I just feel like men have stepped out of their role of leading and being the mighty men of God. Throughout Scripture, we see these ordinary men that were called to be mighty men of God, and they stepped up and they did what God wanted them to do. And I just want to challenge the church and men that are Christians to step into those roles, to lead powerfully in all that God has for them. All the gifts and talents and abilities doesn't mean you need to be upfront speaking. You can be a leader at your workplace. You can be a leader at your home. You can be a mighty man of God wherever God has called you to lead. And so I just feel that a lot of times as men, we get into this comfort zone where we just kind of sit back and relax a little bit and let life pass us by. And I just feel like God's calling us to be courageous again. We need mighty men once again.
Super. Yeah, I always, when you some of those things, it made me think of Gideon, where before he rose into his calling, he's hiding, I think, is it from the Midianites? And he said he was threshing grain in the wine press, a place where he could, because they would come and they'd steal these products from them. So he's hiding out threshing grain, and this angel shows up and says, "The Lord is with you, mighty man of valor." And it's just the funniest thing, because the whole setting is that he's hiding from his enemies. and yet this angel comes to him and says, "You're a mighty man of valor, and God is with you." And I think right there, there's a lesson in there that
Hmm.
I don't, that God sees something in each of us that we don't see in ourselves, and
Right.
you kind of need someone to call that out. And Gideon, he had all that capacity in him, but he had no idea that it was there. I think that's the same for each of us. I've done stuff now in my life. There's been these moments where I've done something that I never thought I could do, and or there's been moments where I've realized I've been believing a lie for all these years, and this lie was just proven to be a lie. This thing I believe was proven to be a lie. What else am I believing that might also be a lie? And
Hmm.
I think it's just interesting with Gideon how the calling was there, the capacity was always there, and he never realized it.
Right. Man, I'm really hoping even at our men's conference this year that we're going to see people called out of that normal life that they're living, that God's going to do that to mighty men again,
Yeah.
even as we meet together. I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Sheldon. We're really excited to have you at Men's Retreat this year. And guys, you can go to ndmen.org/events and register. And we're excited to see you in 2 weeks, Sheldon. Thanks for your time today.
All right. Thanks, Lucas. We'll see you guys
Yep.
soon.
See ya. Thanks.